Hi everybody, welcome back to my kitchen. We are on week 2 of our trip around the world in 80 days, and hopefully you all had a chance to make our delicious apple dumplings from last week. I know I ate one, my husband ate one, and I shared a couple with one of my children, and so I'm anxious to hear their feedback on it. I know my husband liked his. I did get some feedback from some folks who watched the video last week about how to make it better. And so I'm definitely gonna try those tips and tricks to make a sauce to put over it while it's baking. But just wanting to follow along with what the World Trade Press, A to Z, the World Food Database website says, I just wanted to stick with exactly how they wanted us to make them. So this week, we are on week 2. We have left the United States, and our next stop is, drum roll, it's Mexico. So this week, I wanted to make something very, just very simple, very easy to make, and something that wouldn't take up a bunch of time because last week's video was very long. So this week we are making huevos rancheros. Now, before you start typing away and telling me that I'm pronouncing that wrong, I know I am. I am not a Spanish-speaking individual. In high school, I took French, so I know I'm saying it wrong, so please don't type in and tell me I'm saying it wrong because I already know it. So we are going to make this simple breakfast dish, and I'm going to read to you from what the recipe card says after I printed it off, exactly what we're looking at today. And so here goes. It says, Huevo rancheros are a Mexican breakfast tradition with many versions, some with cheese, beans, or grilled chilies. The most authentic way to make huevo rancheros is very simple. Eggs and salsa served on corn tortillas. Onions, cilantro, and or garlic may be added. The recipe that is on the web page will serve 2 people. I'm going to cut that in half. This is actually my lunch today, not my breakfast. No, it's going to be my lunch. So I am going to cheat it and only cook half of it. The prep time on it is a whole 5 whopping minutes, and the cook time is 20 minutes. For a total time of 25 minutes. That's not too bad for a great breakfast. The ingredients are simply corn tortillas, olive oil, eggs, salsa, and salt to taste. So simple, easy ingredients, and we are going to get right to it. Okay, everybody, so here is my simple ingredients. Actually, I have my olive oil set aside. This is all you need to make this delicious breakfast treat. So I have some olive oil started to heat up in a pan here. Now, the recipe does not tell us how hot to make the oil, doesn't tell us how much oil we need, just some oil. So I just have a very small amount in there. I don't eat a whole lot of fried foods, and so I'm not good at frying food. So we'll see how this works out. My corn tortillas are soft, and I just purchased these at a local grocery store. If you live in Bradford, where I'm at, our little grocery store, I did not find these there, but I did travel to the next bigger town, which was just like 10 minutes away, and did find some. I'm sure you can find them at most grocery stores though. And everything else is just simple ingredients that I had already in my pantry. So I just want to point out these absolutely gorgeous eggs. Aren't they the prettiest eggs you've ever seen? And I know right now I kind of sound like Martha Stewart, but I am so excited about these eggs. I have one of our coworkers at the library has a grandson who is raising chickens and selling eggs as part of his FFA projects. And these have been the most delicious eggs. If you know a young person or even an old person who is raising chickens and has fresh eggs, I highly recommend purchasing eggs off of someone local and seeing if you could see the difference. I think when you see me crack these eggs in the pan later, you're gonna see the yolks are way more yellow. They're beautiful. They taste better. They're great. So we're gonna see how those turn out in just a few moments. We're gonna check our oil here. And I'm just simply putting my hand over this because I don't have a thermometer. Once again, not a chef. So we're just gonna let that oil heat up a little bit. The recipe says, step 1, to fry the corn tortillas in olive oil until they are golden and a little crisp. And then we are to drain them and set them aside. And then it says, in another frying pan, heat some oil. Fry your eggs gently on one side until the whites are firm, but the yolks are still runny. So I am probably, just for the sake of cleanup, I am going to fry my 2 corn tortillas in here, and then I'm going to wipe that pan out, and then I'm going to reuse it. So I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna see how. Can you see that sizzling a little bit down there? So I think my oil might be good. I'm gonna give it a whirl. I'm just gonna lay it in there. And we're gonna see what happens. And like I said before, I am not a fried food eater. It is delicious, I know. You can see this thing is puffing up already. So I know it's cooking. And I'm going to kind of keep an eye on it because I have no idea how long it's going to take for it to get brown and slightly crispy, and I certainly don't want to burn it because that would be super embarrassing to do that on the internet. I'm going to flip it. You can see it's a little bit brown on that side. And it smells so good. Oh my goodness. I have over here just simply I have a paper towel set on a little drain rack so that when these are done and crispy, I can just set them aside on it so that they can drain. You know, I can feel this thing crisping up, especially on the edges. So this is only taking a couple of minutes here to really get beautiful color to it, really. It has changed colors as it's cooking, and you can see how fast that is. I haven't even cut this shot away. I'm going to drain that one. Like I said, I'm not big on frying food too much, and I'm going to set my next one in there, and we're going to let it go. And oh, it just smells so good. Several years ago, like over 15 years ago, my husband and I and 2 of our older children had the opportunity to go to Mexico on a mission trip with a rather large group from the Bradford area. And the people there were so gracious and so lovely. And it's one of those, it certainly is a trip that I will never forget. We really had a beautiful time there. And like I said, the people were so gracious and so beautiful. We went to, we were in a mountainous region in the center of Mexico, northern central Mexico. It's called Nuevo Leon, and it's in a, that is like the state. And we were in Galeana was the city. Okay, so I have both of my tortillas are nice, and they're just they're still a little bit flexible, but they're just a little bit crispy, a little bit browned. I'm gonna let those drain on that paper toweling. And in the meantime, I've taken my pan and I have drained most of the oil out. And I saved some of the hot oil off to the side just in case I need a little bit more. But I'm gonna go ahead and crack these beautiful eggs in here, and we're gonna see what they look like today. Okay, so one thing I'm realizing with part of my janky productions here is that I need a tripod to put my phone on. I can't crack an egg and videotape at the same time. I need 2 hands. So That's the cutaway there. So my eggs are frying gently. I actually have probably a little too much heat going here because they are browning a little bit, probably too fast on the edges. I'm just going to hold them off the heat for just a couple minutes here so that the tops of the whites can catch up with the edges and the browning that's going on the edges there. I'm going to set this down and turn my heat down a little bit. And see if I can get my spatula here. So the recipe says that we want the whites to be firm, but the yolks to still be round, which is actually how I love my eggs. Usually I flip them another time. And in the meantime, I'm going to take just a simple saucepan. The recipe calls for a whole cup of salsa, but I am going to use just a simple half cup because remember, I'm cutting my recipe in half, and it says to heat that gently while my eggs are cooking. So my eggs are probably a little overdone on that side, and of course my whites up here on the top are still a tad bit runny, and I have my heat turned down as far as I possibly can right now on my stove. But such is life. I'll just have some crispy edged eggs, I guess. You see my bottom is getting very, very brown, so I may be eating burnt eggs today. Who knows? In the meantime, it says to take your 2 corn tortillas to serve these, and I'm going to put them on my plate. Once again, not a chef, therefore I don't know how to plate things either. So I'm going to take my eggs here. I may actually give them one flip, even though it doesn't say to do that, but I've got to have those whites a little bit more done than what they were. And that looks much better. And that looks much better. So I think those are done. Turn my heat off over here. And I'm going to take 1 egg. It says place it in the middle of your tortilla. 2 eggs placed in the middle of the tortilla. And in the meantime, the salsa is heating. I'm going to let that heat for a couple minutes and get nice and toasty. And I'll be right back and let you know how it tastes like. Okay, so we're back after just a minute or two. My salsa is starting to bubble and get hot now, so I'm going to take this off my heat, and we're going to, it says to heat the salsa in a pan on high for 2 minutes until quite hot, and then to spoon it over each egg. So we're going to spoon this over the eggs, and I love salsa. I love fresh salsa. This is not fresh salsa, but I know a lot of you this past summer had really great, productive gardens, and so if you are fortunate enough to have a fresh batch of salsa in your house, or maybe you make it up often, maybe you are one of the lucky ones. So I'm going to bring this over here, and we're going to get a spoon or a fork, and we're going to see how this tastes. Okay, everybody, I've got my fork ready. I've got my Huevos rancheros ready to go. I'm going to give this a whirl here. I love that dippy, runny egg in there. Yummy. It's going to keep it nice and moist, I'm sure. I could totally eat this with some fresh queso on top, just some fresh Mexican cheese would be amazing on here, I am sure. And of course, I'm having a hard time cutting it, but here goes. Oh my goodness, that is delicious. Absolutely delicious. I could completely eat this for breakfast, even though it feels like I'm eating chips and salsa. The egg is nice and runny, keeping everything really moist and good. It's really tasty. And I could eat this for breakfast. I could eat this for lunch. I could probably eat this for dinner. No matter any time of the day, this is a great, great dish. So I hope you will you'll give the Mexico page a try over this week. If you make something great, if you make your own version of Huevos Rancheros this week or today or whenever, anytime during this 80 days, shoot me a text, send me a picture. I want to see what you guys are making as we continue our trip around the world. In the library this week, there are some books on Mexico. There are some books about Mexico, Mexico travel, and even some fiction that's out that's based in Mexico. So if you are interested in any of that, stop by the library. Again, if you are trying to get on the A to Z World Food site from our webpage, I noticed last week that when I tried to get on, it wants you to put your library card number in there now. I think they're just trying to authenticate. Hopefully that means that a lot of you are trying to get on that page. So if you need to know your library card number, give us a call at the library and we would be happy to get you your library card number if maybe you've lost your card. And if you don't have a card with us, stop in and see us sometime. We would love to get you a card and get you hooked up and connected with all the great things that the Bradford Public Library has to offer. So we'll see you soon. Have a great week, everybody.